question answer. The very first question: how does the peddler interpret the act of kindness and hospitality shown by the crofter, the iron master, and his daughter? The peddler seems to have interpreted the acts of hospitality of the three persons in different ways. The crofter was the first of the three. He was the first of the three who showed kindness and hospitality. He gave him food, played cards with him, and shared his confidences. In spite of the great generosity shown by the crofter, the peddler does not seem to think very high of him. Perhaps he considered him only a simpleton. He is in the beginning very happy after stealing his kroners and considered himself smart. Even at the end of the story, he thinks him a fool who tempts poor vagabonds because he keeps his money hanging by the window frame. Iron Master's hospitality he had refused. He never believed him. He knew well that he was behaving with such kindness only because of a mistaken identity. It was the act of kindness and hospitality shown by the iron master's daughter which the peddler greatly appreciates. It was her compassionate behavior which persuaded him to accept the invitation which he had earlier refused. Later on, when his identity is revealed, the Iron Master asks him to leave at once. But the girl intercedes on the peddler's behalf. More than her father, the peddler is surprised. He interprets her idea as crazy. Her kind behavior throughout his stay stirs his conscience. He interprets that she was treating him as a real captain. It is this interpretation which compels him to change himself completely. Now, children, I'll explain you this answer. Actually, the peddler interprets the acts of kindness and hospitality of the three persons he met. First the crofter, then the iron master, and then his daughter. He cheats the crofter as he provides him company in his loneliness and helps him pass time. He wants to get a couple of kroners from the iron master and surprise the, like, he was rather we can say that he was moved by the hospitality of iron master's daughter and crofter, but for the iron master we can say that he knew that iron master had mistaken him for his identity. He'd mistaken some other, he is treating him because of a mistaken identity. He wants to get a couple of kroners from the iron master. He's surprised at the contrasting style of behavior. There was a contrast of behavior between the behavior of father and a daughter, and he is touched by the kindness, care, and intervention of Edla. He was touched by kindness of Edla on his behalf. So, the next question: what are the instances in the story that show that the character of the Iron Master is different from that of his daughter in many ways. There are several instances in the story to show that the character of the Iron Master is different from that of his daughter. The first of these is when they invite the peddler home. The Iron Master thought it was his old acquaintance Niels Olof. Actually, he had a mistaken identity, so he thought that he is Niels Olof. So he invites him home, but his words show his arrogance. He prints out the captain's mistake and says that it had happened only because he, the Iron Master, was not in service at that time. Thus, he thinks that the man has been refusing because he is too poor to enter his manor house. He returns unsuccessful. His daughter is, however, full of compassion. She can see that the man is terribly afraid and needs an assurance that he will be allowed to leave as freely as he has come. When she gives her word about it, he readily goes with her. Thus, while the Iron Man is proud, the daughter is compassionate. The second instance is when the identity of the man is revealed. The Iron Master is angry, thinks that he has been cheated, and even wants him jailed. The daughter is still compassionate and remembers her word. She persuades her father to let him live to enjoy the Christmas Eve. The third and the last instance, which reveals her character, is when the man has left and the Iron Master and his daughter know that he is a thief. The Iron Master cannot hide his feelings. He is worried about his silver spoons. And the young girl is only more dejected than usual. Actually, children, now I'll explain you. The Iron Master, we can say that he is impulsive, whereas the daughter is cool, logical, kind, and thoughtful. I'll again repeat, the Iron Master is impulsive, daughter is cool, logical, kind, and thoughtful. In uncertain light, the Master mistakes the stranger as his old regiment comrade. He invites him home and takes care of his feeding, clothing. But when he sees him in broad daylight, he calls him the man dishonest and demands an explanation and is ready to call in the sheriff. His daughter is more observant. She notices the fear of the stranger and thinks that either he is a thief or a runaway prisoner. In spite of that, she is gentle, kind, and friendly to him. She treats him nicely even after knowing the mistaken identity. Iron Master actually he had that mistaken identity, and just because of that, he brought that he invited the Rattrap seller peddler home, and somehow his daughter, she was observant and she knew that the expressions on the face of the Rattrap seller was of that of a thief or a runaway prisoner, but she kept calm. And then she even remembered her words that she invited and they invited him for to celebrate Christmas. So when his father told that he is going to call a sheriff, because he thought that this man is dishonest, and he demands an explanation. So then his daughter, she tells that it was they who invited them home. The next question: the story has many instances of unexpected reactions from the character of others' behavior. Pick out instances of these surprises. So, children, the first surprising reaction is that of the, like, what was the first is that of the crofter. The peddler never expected the hospitality given to him. He expected, as usual, a sour face, but the crofter gave him food and tobacco and played cards with him. The peddler was most surprised at the crofter's unexpected reaction to his expression of being incredulous. The crofter showing the money was most unexpected. It was only not only the peddler's fate to come across unexpected reactions, but other characters have also their share. The Iron Master does not understand why his supposed friend is insistent on living in the forge. When his daughter comes to persuade the peddler's reaction of fear was very unexpected to her. The peddler was not surprised when he was asked to leave by the Iron Master, but her daughter's behavior on that occasion surprised him a great deal. He calls it a crazy idea. Last but not least, the peddler's reaction to the young girl's kindness was also most unexpected. No one could think that the thief would leave the house not only without taking anything away, but on the contrary, leaving a decent present for a young lady. The girl was rightly and, of course, pleasantly surprised. This was the answer, children. Now, I'll tell you that why was peddler surprised, children. The peddler is surprised at the warm welcome, generous supper, cheerful company, and intimate confidences by the crofter. The crofter disclosed the secrets. So he was surprised. The Iron Master addresses the peddler as Captain von Steel. He's surprised when the Iron Master calls him Nils Olof. The Iron Master assumes his declining the invitation a result of embarrassment, which caused by the miserable clothing. He thought that he's not clothed properly, so that is the reason he's declining the invitation. We can say, children, the peddler's comparison of the world is to a rat traps makes the Iron Master laugh, and he drops the idea of calling in the sheriff. It was then when he drops the idea, because he thought that this man, the rat trap seller, is dishonest, and he demands an explanation. Because in the broad daylight, when he saw the rat trap, he found that he is not the man he thought of. The peddler looks at Edla in a boundless amazement. Why? When she tells him that the suit is a Christmas present. She also invites him to spend next Christmas with him. She does all this even after knowing the mistake about a mistaken identity. She knew it, that he was not the person they were thinking of. The crofter is robbed by his guest, the Rattrap peddler, in return of his hospitality. So this is the story all about. These are the questions all about, children, and you. This is your assignment. You will write down the answers and you will submit it to me.